This is Fermi 2, the largest Mark I reactor in the world, the same reactor as the Fukushima plant that melted down in Japan. The reactor sits on the shores of Lake Erie in southeast Michigan, threatening the safety of the Great Lakes and surrounding areas. It is owned and operated by DTE Electric Company. This isn't even beginning to take into account the devastating effects on the ecosystem, cancer rates, or other health impacts of radiation. As a part of a $200 billion effort to reduce radioactivity in the affected area, 14 million cubic meters of topsoil was collected and bagged from the exclusion zone, but no one knows what to do with it. This is the Fermi 2 complex and its immediate neighbors. The complex currently houses around 650 metric tons of nuclear waste, which will take up to 100,000 years to break down. No safe storage solution has ever been found. The surrounding communities faces rising cancer rates, which have been found to coincide with the operation of the plant. A group of physicians, they did a particular study which showed that cancer rates were under the national average before Fermi 2 went online, and after Fermi 2 went online, there has been consistent growth to now above the national average. Thermal pollution from more than 40 million gallons of wastewater that Fermi 2 discharges into Lake Erie every day raises the temperatures of the lake and contributes to the growing toxic algae blooms. These algae blooms endanger public health, aquatic ecosystems, and local economies. This is the 10-mile radius around Fermi 2, the only area that DTE has an evacuation plan for. People in this zone are the only U.S. residents around Fermi that can apply for KI vouchers. KI tablets can reduce the threat of thyroid cancer for those exposed to radioactive iodine. It will only help protect people from the radioactive iodine and not the many other potential sources of radiation poisoning. We know that the effects of a meltdown of a Mark I reactor in Fukushima traveled much further than 10 miles, and the Canadian government provides Canadian and First Nation citizens with free KI tablets for people within a 50-mile radius of Fermi 2. After the Fukushima nuclear plant meltdown in Japan, the United States urged its citizens to evacuate a 50-mile radius around the plant. The plan for folks in the Detroit area or Toledo is say your prayers. The mayflies on Lake Erie hatched off and they swarmed the transformer nearby the reactor and caused the power to blow. March 2011. Fukushima meltdown confirms for the world the severity of the backup generator design flaw. In December of 2017, an external audit confirms that Fermi 2 has the same flaw and that it needs to be fixed. DTE delays repair until they are pressured by the public and fined $375,000. In July 2020, mayflies swarmed the transformer and shut it down completely. If the mayflies had swarmed the transformer before DTE had fixed the generators, we could have had the same type of meltdown that happened at Fukushima. So we were this close to having the same kind of meltdown here in Detroit. This is the 500-mile radius, which encompasses not only the land, but the Great Lakes watershed. The Great Lakes make up 20% of the world's fresh water, and should something go wrong with the plant operations or waste storage at Fermi 2, these waters and the people, ecosystems, and economies that rely on them would pay the price. The nuclear fuel chain is responsible for carbon emissions and dangerous pollution during mining, milling, enrichment, construction, transportation, and decommissioning. Everything from the waste storage to decommissioning to even running the plant is subsidized by government taxpayers. It's bigger than just the plants, and it's global. It's across the world. We are paying with our planet, and we are paying with our lives. Renewable technologies are readily available. They cost far less on many levels and can be used instead of dirty, unsafe nuclear energy. Together, we can move towards a world that's free from nuclear energy, that is powered by renewables, and this world will be a more accessible, fair, and just energy future for all.